Hi, I'm Ed Bruce. 2 years ago, we were fortunate to be able to bring you all the action from the Northstars, and we're happy to be back here. I know my pals Brock Yates and Steve Evans are glad to be here, so let's go to them for their thoughts on today's action. Brock?
Oh, you're right, Ed. It sure is beautiful here in Minnesota, but it's a little bit on the chilly side. The fans have shown up by the thousands, but most of them are wearing their woolies. But that hasn't slowed down the competition a bit. So far in the funny car ranks, this man, John Collins, is gathering all the headlines. Not only did he set low ET in qualifying, but he disposed of little John Lombardo in the famous Blue Max in the first round of competition. John Collins on a roll. Remember, he's never won a major NHRA contest. But that's not the only surprise we've had here. So let's go down to the starting line with the top fuel ranks to my pal, Steve Evans.
Brock, no one, including the man himself, can remember the last time Connie Coletta was the #1 qualifier in top fuel. But he is here at Brainerd, a track record 5.55 seconds clocking. Connie is strapped in and ready to race. The very first race of the day, Big Daddy Don Garlits. And Connie, it's got to be a refreshing change to go up against Garlits with you really as the favorite.
I can't hear you. Say again, Steve.
Connie, it's got to be a nice change to be the favorite against that black car, that old nemesis of yours.
Well, it's hard to take and judge what he can do. He can pull it out of the bag. He's the smartest one in this game right now, and he can do it.
Now, the weather's changed a lot since you qualified. It's much colder. Is the track going to take that kind of horsepower?
I hope so. I'm worried about it in the mid-range. Friday, I was spinning the tires at the other end of the race course, and we put more wing in it to try and stop it. We'll have to see what happens.
But knowing you, you're going to the starting line with everything you got in your arsenal.
It's ready.
All right. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Good, because I've always wanted to say this. Gentlemen, start your engine.
Sound just like Tony Hallman, Evans. What a terrific job you're doing. All right. 3,000 horsepower lights up behind Connie Coletta, and also Big Daddy's giant Dodge-powered tractor. That comes to life as well. So we've got a couple of old rivals about ready to kick things off. These guys date back to the 1950s. His competitors, Connie Coletta, now in the flying business as well as running his drag racing operation. Don Garlits running his beautiful drag racing museum down in Ocala, Florida. A couple of guys, though, that would rather not be anyplace else but here, right on a drag strip.
You got it, Brock. And I'll tell you, Connie Coletta just shocked everybody in the opening day of qualifying. 5:45, 264 miles an hour. Both track records by a Minnesota mile.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of expected Connie to show up at these big national events, but not to really take things too seriously. For a while, he and Scott, his son, showed up with a couple of cars, had a lot of fun, but really didn't seem to be into the program 100%.
And he comes off a win in Denver, Colorado at the Mile High Nationals. Don Garlits has won 4 national events this year, topped the 265-mile-an-hour mark. The competition, Brock wishes he had stayed retired in that museum.
Well, the man they just called Big is now facing a very much revitalized Connie Coletta, an automobile now from Ypsilanti, Michigan, that has just blown him away. Quick time here so far. So Garlits is not going to take Connie Coletta lightly. He never really has. They're very, very respected friends, mutually respected, but over the years, Garlits has had the best of it.
Connie Coletta is doing something that not all the top fuel drivers are doing, not even Garlits. He's got 2 fuel pumps bolted to the front of that motor, so he really has double the fuel supply he can use any way he wants. And as we've talked before in so many of our telecasts, the fuel systems are really the heart of these motors as far as the performance is concerned. And look at this. It is Coletta away first. It is Coletta running away from Don Garlits. And in case anybody thought his qualifying times were a fluke, 5:45, 264 miles an hour.
Wow. And a very presentable time by Garlits, 5:57, 2:59. So he didn't lay down and die in the face of Connie Coletta's operation, but nonetheless, a monster pass by Connie Coletta to take this first round.
Now, Garlits' numbers there, Brock, you're so right, would win 80% of the drag races you get caught up in, but not when someone like Connie Coletta runs a 5:45. Let's go to Brock at the end of the track with Connie.
5:45, 2:64. Did it feel anything like that?
It felt strong. It really did, Brock. That's the quickest and the fastest run that I've ever made.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you beat the old man to debut.
I couldn't do it any better. It's better time, could I?
You're just super sharp all the way. The car's just been running fantastic,
Yes,
haven't
we have. We've got the fuel system squared away, and it's been a dynamite act.
Well, our congratulations. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Good job. Well, is that man happy? You bet. Sun Scout, first to grab him. A whole big celebration going on down here on the drag strip as Connie Coletta unwinds after a terrific pass to light things up here at Brainerd. Okay, let's go to Steve with the loser.
Well, very seldom do you ever see Big Daddy Don Garlits go out in round number 1, but he laid a heck of a number on you, 5:45.
That's what Herb just said, 5:45, 2:64. The car ran real good, you could tell. Mine was running good, but his run a lot better.
Connie, before the race, said he was a little worried about the middle of the racetrack. Were you maybe lightened it up a little bit there?
Well, we were concerned with this track. We've smoked our tires almost every run, had a little smoke that time, but not enough to make any difference.
But still doing very well in the World Championship.
Yeah, I hope so.
Don Garlits is out in round number 1, but what a number Connie Coletta laid on him, 264 miles an hour.
Well, how's that for a kickoff to the Quaker State Northstar Nationals? But that's just the beginning. We'll be back. Stick around. Lots more to come.
Cloudy and a bit cold here in Brainerd, Minnesota, but the drag racing action at the Quaker State Northstar Nationals is enough to keep you nice and warm. It has just been unbelievable. We've already seen Connie Coletta dispose of Big Daddy Don Garlits. Now it is Gary Beck, two-time world champion, world record holder for elapsed time, up against Bill Mullins, the man who robbed Beck of the Spring Nationals title just a few weeks ago in Columbus, Ohio.
Do you think Gary Beck is out for revenge? Watch this, boy. It looks as if he sorted himself out after a long dry spell up to the recent Spring Nationals, so Beck has become a major factor once again. Bill Mullins, well, he has turned that Kerry car into a real contender, Steve.
And you got to know that the competition hopes Gary Beck never again finds that system that took him to 530s and 540s from him in California. Now, Bill Mullins of Pelham, Alabama, his first year in Top Fuel after 2 decades in the sportsman classes. Now, the car owner, John Gary, he treats this thing like a shotgun. You put a shell in it, fire it, throw it away, and put another one in. We have seen 3 tremendous engine explosions out of this team, but this was the worst yet. It happened in qualifying right here at the Quaker State Northstar Nationals. Now, that is one damaged engine. Fire coming out of every pore, and enough fire, even with the engine in the back. I got a feeling Bill Mullins knew that he had flicked his Bic. We'll take a look at it from another angle. Have it coming right into your living room. You can turn down the thermostat. Old Bill had to be wondering at this point, how long does it take to burn up 12 quarts of 60-weight drag racing motor oil? Fortunately for him, it didn't burn the parachute off and cause some stopping problems. Brock was there waiting for him.
So one of the things about drag racing is that you can never tell when you get a fire like that what the extent of the damage is. Have you had a chance to take a look?
I think we kicked a rod out right close to the end of the track. I had some flame coming in the front of the car up there where I was and got my hand a little bit, but I don't know what caused it, but just I think kicked a rod out and caught some oil on fire.
You're okay, though?
Oh, yeah.
In a situation like that, obviously the motor stops running right, but can you tell that you got any kind of fire back there?
I couldn't tell I had any fire back there until it started coming in the cockpit a little bit, but the vibration, you know, I knew something was wrong.
Yeah. Well, you got it gathered up and stopped, so I'll let you get back and get to work.
Thanks for the good help on the safety safari there.
And amen to that, Bill Mullins. There's none better than NHRA's emergency teams. In fact, you see one of them there in the background. Well, the John Kerry crew, along with Bill Mullins, they all pitched in, worked all night, and got a motor back together that sounds just as good as any they've had, and it is in the far lane, getting ready to go up against Gary Beck.
Well, as we said, a rematch of the Spring Nationals finals when Bill Mullins blew out Gary Beck with a very strong run. So we'll see if revenge is sweet for Gary Beck or if the streak continues for Bill Mullins. A couple of seasoned professionals. These guys are probably not going to make any mistakes. Somebody is going to have to beat somebody else. You're not going to have to rely on a red light in this kind of competition.
And you know what constantly amazes me? The Gary Beck, Larry Minor team, they have got 2 18-wheelers full of engines and parts and pieces. The John Kerry group, well, they have got an old pull-along kind of beat-up trailer, and I always wonder where they come up with the resources to put that thing back together as much as they blow it up. And I'll tell you, it sounds good. There's not a wisp of smoke coming out of any of the pipes on Bill Mullins' car or Gary Beck's for that matter. So now the delicate staging process begins. They inch forward. The top yellow light of the Christmas tree, the pre-stage. It's just to help the drivers. When both those top yellow lights are on, they're ready. The starter buster couch sends them on their way. On the Christmas tree, a yellow light, 4/10 of a second later, the green. Set and ready, Gary Beck. His front wheels closest to you. They leap right together. A gorgeous start. Smoke in the tires. Gary Beck wins it by about an inch. 567, 246 miles an hour, and it was that little loss of traction that spelled defeat for Bill Mullins. So Gary Beck got to be smiling a little bit, thinking, "Oh, partner, I owed you one." Let's look at it again. The lead, well, you call him. No obvious advantage to either driver. Now watch the rear slicks on the car in the far lane. When they start to smoke, and you can bet Bill Mullins felt that, probably got off the throttle just a little bit, and that is what cost him the race. Just a simple and slight loss of traction. Oh my, try to call this one. What a drag race. Gary Beck defeats Bill Mullins, and down at the end of the racetrack, a happy Gary.
Well, Gary Beck is one of those deals that you never know who wins the thing until somebody comes up and tell you, and that's kind of good news. It was very close, though, went all the way.
It was extremely close. I didn't see Bill the first half of the track, and then he pulled up on me, and actually I pulled away from him a little bit, and then right in the lights he went right by me real fast. So I really didn't know.
Well, it was only a couple of 100s, but anything counts. And how about the racetrack? It seems like you got a little bit of crosswind, especially in the lights. Is that bothering you at all?
Well, not really. The cars are not too bad. It's a good racetrack here, and I like coming up here. And it's we got a very cold afternoon, and we're just getting started. So the track's probably, the surface temperature is not really up real good yet, but we don't have all the power we used to have anyway, so it's good for us.
Well, good. Congratulations. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Gary Beck heads to the second round, but Bill Mullins, he's through for the day.
Well, Bill, I don't know about you, but Gary Beck didn't know who won.
I didn't either. I thought we had won, but apparently I passed him right past the finish line.
That's exactly what he said, maybe inches past the finish line. It's been a long, tough weekend for you guys, but still performed very well, even after exploding that motor in qualifying.
We've had bad luck. Even the awning fell on the car while we were working.
The generator fell on the car?
No, the awning fell, collapsed on the car. Yeah, everything's happened. We've had some bad luck, but we'll turn it around.
I'm sure you will. Bill Mullins goes out in round one to Gary Beck, but how close it was.
So the cool weather here in Minnesota does not agree with the Spring Nationals winner. We'll be back with more from the Quaker State Northstar Nationals